Sadly, for some pets, being left homeless or finding themselves in a shelter can mean the end. But for our next special guests, they were lucky enough to be given a second chance when they were adopted into loving families. And their stories are two of the many inspirational tales in a new book of lives of adopted dogs. Joining me this morning, Myron and Missy and their loving owners, Rachael Wood and Rachel Lonergan. Ladies and Myron and Missy, good morning, everyone. Yes. Okay, Rachel, let's talk about this gorgeous puppy here. He was born blind.
He was born blind due to his mother's malnutrition.
Wow. Now, how did you come by this gorgeous boy?
Somebody rescued the mother and let her give birth in their house, and they rang me and asked if I'd like to come and adopt a puppy, even though no one knew of the health problems at that time.
Wow. When did you realise he did have some issues?
I had him for a couple of weeks and took him to the vet for the vaccinations. And the the vet said that Myron was blind.
Yeah.
And
does he want his little toy?
He encouraged me to that I could handle it, that we could keep going with it.
And what's he been? What's life been? Because one of the things about dogs and disabilities, they have no concept of them. So he just gets on with life. What are there difficulties for you more than him?
I worry about it more than he does. He's got no problems. He's up and down the stairs fine, catches his tennis ball, works with a frisbee, visits the elderly and visits schools, and he's very confident. He doesn't know he's got a problem.
Indeed, and runs around, has a good time. Now, we heard a little bark there, so I guess his senses in terms of hearing, dogs got great hearing anyway, that must be accentuated.
Yes, and he's in a new environment.
Yeah. And it must be, the only difficulty would be taking him to new environments, is that it?
Yes, but he catches on pretty quick.
Yeah. Now, Rachel, tell me about this gorgeous little baby.
So Missy's a 10-year-old Cavalier, and she spent the first 8 years of her life as a puppy mill mother. So intensive breeding of dogs, and had many, many puppies. And I found her, I was recovering from breast cancer, and I found Missy on the Pet Rescue website and had no intention of getting a dog, and had to have her. So I saw her profile, and I remember her profile said, Missy's had nothing and expects nothing, and it just broke my heart. So I kept thinking about it, and finally I made the phone call. And
but particularly poignant because of what you were going through.
Yeah, well, I think because of the recovery process that I was going through, I had a bit of time, and I certainly needed a bit more, probably, encouragement to get out and about and, you know, get back to life. So, and Missy certainly gave me that.
How so?
Well, I think because she needed a lot of rehabilitation. So we kind of had a parallel path as far as rehabilitation was concerned. So she needed to learn how to walk. She had never been on a walk before, had never stood on grass before.
Isn't it disgraceful when you think, hey, Bubs, what's happening? Myron, what's going on, mate? He said, well, I don't know where I am. I'm sick of this, Mum. It is disgraceful when you think of the whole puppy farm issue. She, in her puppy farm for the first 8 years, as you know, she was constantly pregnant, churning out puppies, just never been on grass, never had any love and attention.
No, and she'd been neglected dreadfully, so she had a lot of physical problems to overcome, but she also had a lot of mental issues to overcome. So she was terrified of everybody and everything, and fast forward to now, her favourite thing is coming with me out for a coffee and seeing friends and that kind of thing.
So she has learned to live a life. So, I mean, there's something really important. Now, you're talking about adopted dogs, and there's some really heartwarming stories here. But, I mean, it's important when people want to get a dog, they have to consider puppy farms, know where your animal is coming from, and seriously consider it. But what would be your advice, ladies?
Oh, please, go to a shelter. Go and rescue someone that's waiting, that's going to...
But sometimes people go, oh, the behaviour's set. I want you know, a new animal that I can mould my own will.
I think if you go to a site like Pet Rescue, there's a dog there for whatever your requirements are. So there are tens of thousands of dogs that are killed every year because they can't find homes. And on Pet Rescue, there are tens of thousands of dogs waiting to find homes. And there's a dog for every situation.
Whatever the puppy farms, we could get rid of them, we'd all be better people.
Yes.
Rachel and Rachael, thank you. And puppies, you've all done extremely well this morning. There's some heartwarming stories, and thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
We've got a lot more coming up on the program now. If you need fresh makeup, you've got to try